Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of this video series that I've been doing on real estate investing for beginners with no money. Now, in the first video, Scott gave us some great examples on how we can get started investing in real estate. Now, in the second video, he showed us how he does it and how he made a deal he made $15,000 in profit in just 3 to 4 hours of work. So he goes in very deep details, step by step, on how that actually worked. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's nice that Scott can do this, but can this model be duplicated? So for those of you who don't know, Scott created Little Pink Houses of America because he has learned how to do these different real estate practices and has done really well. So he has something called affiliates. So anyone who wants to learn from him, they join his mentorship program or his coaching program and they become affiliates. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm interviewing some of his affiliates, people who have joined him and just come under his wing to learn completely from him on how to do these deals with no cash or credit. It's gonna be a great interview, and if you guys stick around, you gotta learn how much they have made so far with just joining Little Pink House of America and doing this part-time. So you guys don't wanna miss that. All right, let's get to the interview right now. Enjoy, guys. Hey guys, so we have Bobby and Jenny right here with us right now, and I'm going to be asking some questions on how they got started about with Little Pink House of America, how they're doing, and is this something that we can do ourselves? So let's get right into it. Bobby and Jenny, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks, Whitney. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having us.
No problem. So we're going to get right into it. First of all, can you guys just give us a little bit about yourselves and how you got started with Little Pink Houses of America?
Sure. So we are from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. We are in the IT field. We're kind of mid-level career. And so about 4 years ago or so, we got to the point where I was able to finally, we had a house that Jenny owned for a while. We were able to sell that house and actually make enough money off of that to pay off all my student loans. So that opened up some resources for us. We're dual income, no kids. So we just had money laying around that we wanted to maximize and, maybe try and retire early. So we started listening to, all kinds of different YouTube videos and tracing down different ways of making passive income, different ways of, retiring early. So we read video, watched videos about the whole FIRE movement of where it's retire, financial independence and retire early. Well, that sounded great to us. We like to travel. We're scuba divers. We want to get out of these W-2 rat races. So we started really exploring different ways of doing that. Real estate just kind of popped up as kind of the ideal way of doing that. The idea is you have a house, you rent it out, you get that passive income, and you get enough of those homes in, generating enough passive income that covers all your expenses. You're now job optional. So that was really appealing to us. And as we're exploring that and learning more about it, we connected through several different YouTube channels, and we eventually wound up connecting with Little Pink Houses in 2019. And at the time, we really thought that was a way to just generate more cash for us, because it's basically a real estate business. They give you the blueprint, you follow that blueprint, you put in the time, and if you can consistently do that, you can generate fairly significant amounts of income. And it's a job that would give you the ability to, continue our W-2 positions and keep working there, but part-time be working with on the Little Pink, and be able to generate more money to buy houses quicker, so you get more houses to get to that financial independence faster. And so when we hooked up with them in 2019, we went through the training, and to be honest, we were skeptical at first. Would this really work? Do we really have the ability to go out there and do this? And so we spoke with the folks. They're always very open. They answered all of our questions. They said, if you do these things, this is the results you'll get. And so we decided to sign up with them. And when we did that, we came down, we took a week training with them. We got very excited about it. And we got back and we started following the process. And at every stage of the process, we still were skeptical. So the first thing was, well, you got to start calling people. We're like, well, can we just kind of call people out of the blue and offer to buy their house and sell their house for them? And will this really work? Well, we started doing that, and it worked. Well, so now we started getting houses under inventory to turn around and sell back out. And then I'm like, well, can we actually find buyers for these? We're still skeptical. Well, it worked out just like it said. And every step of the way, we had this moment of, oh, is this going to work? Is this going to work for us? But then it did. And it's like, at some point, we're going to have to quit being skeptical and just follow the plan they laid out. And it just works. And, they told us at the time that if you could put in about 15 hours a week consistently, you could probably generate about a deal a month. And so after we started being consistent with it, we got to the point where we're generating a deal about once every 5 weeks. So
Okay.
we weren't as consistent. So we didn't quite get to the deal a month. We got to deal every 5 weeks, but every deal is somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000. So, okay.
Close enough.
Close enough,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So, and some deals were even more. We've had deals that came very close to bringing in closer to $30,000 or $40,000. That one got away from us. So the biggest deal we almost had, we had the hook in it. We were reeling it in. It was going to be about a $38,000 deal in total. That one slipped away from us at the last minute. Oh well.
Oh, that
Okay.
hurts. That hurts.
That hurts. That hurts. But there are other affiliates that we speak with, and they've gotten even more than that in some of their deals. Now, the typical deal is about, we just say it's about $10,000 per deal. And if you can consistently put in the 15 to 20 hours a week, you'll see it. And, we'd seen a lot of other programs, and a lot of the other programs are very good about, here are the things you can do. But with Little Pink, it was, here are the things you can do. Now let's sit down and actually do them and take you through step by step down to walking through how you fill out all the forms and all the documentation of what the process is. And it very much, put us in the position of actually forcing us to do it, actually taking the actions with their support and with their help. So, again, we started in 2019. They have been at our side from day one. We're part of their family. They're part of our family at this point.
So is it more like kind of a mentorship program as well?
It's a mentorship program, it's a coaching program, and it's a business. They say it's a business in a box. They give you everything you need to know and everything you need to do the business, to have the business yourself. And as you're doing the business, now you've got the coaching and mentoring support behind that.
Now, so how long did it take you to get your first deal? So you say when you started being consistent, at that point, when did you actually get maybe your first deal after getting started?
Sure. So we got our first home under contract it took us about 3 months to get our first home under contract.
Okay.
It took us about another 3 months beyond that to sell. So we got our first check in about 6 months.
Okay. Now, do you say that was because, I'm sorry.
I think we were a little slower because some folks have gotten them like within 30 days. So everybody's a little different and everybody's consistent at different levels. And while Jenny is super consistent, I am not super consistent. So I kind of drag us down a little bit. So it's all my fault.
No, that's what we found is you have to consistently put in the time week after week. If you take a break or hold off for a month or so, you'll see the results of that, down the road, just a lull in the activity. And so once we figured out, okay, we've got to do this week in, week out, and that showed the results after that.
Yeah.
Now, how much was your first deal? Do you remember?
I believe that one was $18,000. Our first deal was $18,000.
$18,000, not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Not
Not
bad.
bad at all. Not bad at all.
Now, can you give us like a more of a day-to-day, are you guys still working, or is this something that you do part-time, or how does your day-to-day with this type of business work? If you could give us an example.
Yeah. So when we first started, we were both full-time employees. Luckily in the job I have, it's a Monday through Thursday schedule. So I had Friday as a weekday that I could work on Little Pink houses. And then plus with it being real estate, we had to do showings and meet the seller at the house to see the house, to get it under contract. So, there was a lot of activity on the weekends. And so when we first started, both full-time, we're now to the point with through income that we've generated in Little Pink houses, plus other avenues that Bobby mentioned. We're always looking for passive income to earn through different ways. Other businesses we've gone through, we're now to the point where I'm part-time still at my W-2 job, and then Bobby is no longer working a W-2 job.
And that's because of this real estate
Yes.
investing that you guys are in.
Correct. Yes.
That's awesome. Now, can you explain how this works? Because so you said there's showings involved. So can you just give us an example of like a deal and how this works, and just so we can have a full better understanding of how this works for myself and my audience?
Sure, sure. So I normally deal mostly with on the seller side. And so we would get leads for sellers that might be interested in selling through the executive lease purchase program. I would call those individuals, see if they're interested. If so, we would make an appointment at the home, both to explain it in more detail to the seller and to see the home to make sure it'd be a good fit for our program. And so we would then meet at the home, meet with the seller, explain everything in detail, make sure they were interested, and if so, get the home under contract. Then we would start marketing the home and start trying to get buyers that were interested. And so we would market the home online, and then those buyers would just start calling in. So Bobby would handle the buyer side of things. We'd take the calls to see which home they're interested in, if they might be qualified for the program or not. And if it looked like that was likely, we would then do a showing of the home for them so they could see the home, see if they want to buy it, and make sure that we think they're going to be qualified. You know, they're going to be able to get a mortgage within a year or two. If so, the buyer would make an offer and we move forward.
Okay, now how are people's reactions when they hear about this, like the seller and the buyer? Are they kind of like, what is this? Or like, how is their reaction when you tell them like, we can sell your house, but you won't get it all in one payment. You want to get it in monthly installments. Like, what's their reaction when they hear that? Are they kind of completely turned off, or is it something like they're like, because to me, I just don't know how I would act if someone asked me that.
Well, so the whole value proposition of it is you'll get more money if you sell it this way. So if you go this way and you can wait a year to get fully cashed out, you'll make 10 or 15% more than you would have any other way of selling.
Percent.
So, yeah. So whenever the sellers hear, I've got to wait a year, they have a little bit of, well, I don't know about that. And then when you explain to them and show them the numbers of how they're going to make 10 to 15% more than they would have by selling it in any other way, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can wait. Now, this doesn't work for every seller. Some sellers need their money right away, immediately, but there are a lot of sellers out there that can wait a year. They could wait, the 12 months to get fully cashed out, and they're happy with it because at the same time, the house is also being leased, so they're getting a monthly payment every single month until the person finally cashes out. So that's part of the reason they make more money, is because they're getting, $1,000 a month while they're waiting to get fully cashed out.
How does it work on the buyer's end?
So it's for folks, for whatever reason, can't walk in a bank today to get a loan. So these people might be self-employed, which means they don't report a lot of income on their taxes because they've got good CPAs. They just can't walk in the bank for various reasons. Very few of the buyers we have credit issues. It's mostly people, for one reason or another, just can't walk in the bank today. Perhaps they're moving from some other part of the country and they can't afford to have two houses while they're moving, for jobs or whatever reason. So it's a very kind of specific set of buyers that this program would work for. But for the buyers it does work for, it's great. Now, it does cost them a little bit more money, but at the same time, it gives them the flexibility of being able to work on getting their situation resolved so that they can get a mortgage at some point. So for those buyers, it's a fantastic program for them, because otherwise they couldn't have a house, or they couldn't get in the house because banks just wouldn't give them a loan at that point.
And
we enroll them in a mortgage readiness program too, to make sure that we're helping them as much as we can to get to the point where we get the mortgage at the end of their lease period. So it's, Little Pink is, a for-profit company, but they really have this focus on making homeowners, making it possible for people that couldn't get in the home otherwise, just kind of work.
how do you find these buyers?
Well, they find us. So,
Wow.
we market the homes, and they call in because they're interested. We have marketing material on there that says things about, well, if you can't qualify today, this home might be for you. And so they're really calling in, and unfortunately, there's a lot of folks out there that just can't afford a home today. And so we get a lot of calls from folks that would like to own a home, but they're not qualified today, and unfortunately some may not even be qualified in several years. They just don't have the income or the credit or the history to support that. So we're really looking for those folks that will be able to afford the home in a pretty short amount of time, because we're also trying to look out for the sellers and get their home sold. That's ultimately what they're looking for. So it's just matching up the right seller home and with the right buyer.
And how are the buyers calling you? Is it because of Little Pink Houses and what they've already done?
Yes, so we'll market the home. So when we have a home, we'll put a sign in the front yard. We'll put some signs in the neighborhood. We market online. Craigslist is a big area we market on. We market on Zillow. We'll market on Facebook Marketplace, kind of the traditional places people would market a home. We market in those places, and the phone will start to ring. You put out an ad for a house that says, banks don't like you today. We love you today, and they will call. And there's never a problem getting buyers to call in. You just need to make sure you find a buyer that can qualify, and it would be a successful program for, because you don't want to set anybody up for failure. So we just make sure that we got sellers that qualify for the program and it works for them and it'll make them happy. And we make sure we find buyers that this program would work for them.
And what if someone wanted to buy the house that could afford a mortgage?
That'd be just fine.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. If they're good today, they're good today. They don't need to wait 12 months. Then the seller's happier with that. Now they won't make quite as much money because they won't be leasing it for that year, but they don't have to pay realtor fees and that kind of stuff. So they still come out making more than a traditional sale. So.
And all these sellers they're at the point where they have already tried to sell their house, but they have basically an expired listing. So they're just at the point where they are ready to sell right away because they're tired of going through the whole process.
It varies. Some are expired listings. Some just are interested in selling in a non-traditional manner, for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to use a real estate agent. Or they're interested in making more on the sale through the lease program. So it's just a variety of reasons.
I think at the end of the day, though, it's mostly you can get more money selling it this way than you can just about any other way. So that's really I think the main motivator for the sellers when they see it. They don't have to do all the work of trying to sell it themselves. They don't have to get a realtor and pay the big realtor fees, and they wind up making more money than they would have otherwise. So that's been really the big bonus for the sellers.
So do you guys enjoy doing this? Is this something that you like to do?
Yeah, it is work. I can't tell you it's not quick money. It's work. But the work is not, the work is enjoyable. It's not particularly hard work. It's just you have to be consistent with it. And it is enjoyable when you actually, get somebody, under contract. You feel like, oh, okay, so somebody, they've gone with us, so that means yay. And then when you find a buyer and you put them together and the deal's working smoothly, yeah, there's a lot of fun in that. Absolutely. And of course, then when you get that, that $10,000 check, that's a lot of fun too. So yeah, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable, but it is work, which means there are times when you come home after, a long day of working in the office for 8-9 hours or whatever, and 30 buyers have called you, and now you're calling back 30 buyers when you get home. I got to tell you, that's not a lot of fun, but the process in itself is enjoyable.
Right. Now, is this something that you would recommend to like a friend, like saying, hey, I'm doing this, this is something I'm making money doing. Is this something that you would recommend to someone else? And then also that friend, what type of person do you think would be good at a job like this?
I think, yes, I think we would recommend it to anybody who is wanting, a side hustle or a side gig or something, or just maybe even make it their full-time position if that's what they wanted to do. It would have to be somebody who can be consistent. I think that is the key. You have to be willing to take the action. You have to be willing to pick up the phone. You have to be willing to go meet people, and you have to be consistent with it. So if there's somebody who's just not consistent, I don't think this would work for them. It doesn't, again, each individual task of the whole process, it's easy. It's not difficult. It's just the consistency has to be there. Yeah,
it's somebody that's self-motivated and can follow through and And also we see some folks as well, a big hurdle is if you're scared to get on the phone and call folks, that can really hold you back. So you got to be willing to do it, even if you feel uncomfortable, get on the phone, call folks, and just have enough time available. We were both doing it initially part-time. You've just got to be able to consistently put in those hours.
Now, I heard that, are there any scripts that they give you that, from what I understand, they give you scripts that you can go by to kind of give you a little bit more confidence and say, this is what I'm going to say. If they say no, maybe do they kind of give you like step-by-step how it works? Just because someone like me, I would probably scare, like, I don't know what to say.
They give you step-by-step, they give you scripts. You just basically read the scripts and answer the questions. The objections, there are like 8 objections, and they all say and ask the same question. And the answer is the same every single time. And it's just there written out for you. Again, we were skeptical. We're like, a script, how's that going to help? Just read the script like it's written, because it flows perfectly. It's designed to, orient the seller that you're talking to or the buyer, and they just work. And I've never I think maybe once somebody asked a question that wasn't already on the objection list, and then we just added it to the objection list for the next time. So it's there, it's all there. It's just a matter of following the script. The challenge is setting your mindset correctly where you can pick up the phone and call somebody. And that's the hardest part, is to pick up the phone.
I mean, you will get some rejections on the phone. Like you said, this is not for every seller. If they need their money right away, or there might be a variety of other reasons where this just wouldn't really work for some sellers. So you've got to be prepared for that, that you're going to get rejection on the phone, but keep making those calls, because 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 sellers that you call, this it might be for them.
Now, having said that, another thing that has been great about Little Pink is that their ability to shift when the market shifts and when things change. So she just mentioned, it's not for every seller, because some sellers might need their money today. Well, that's fine. Little Pink shifted and saying, well, maybe the lease purchase doesn't work for those people, but maybe just selling it straight out. And they immediately shifted and added on the program another technique for handling those sellers that say, I need all my money immediately as soon as I sell. Well, Little Pink adjusted, and they created and added onto their program the option to do that. And now we're down here at this conference because the market has shifted again. As most folks probably know, the market is kind of crazy right now. If you're a seller, put your house out on the market and you'll get 50% more, 100% more. So now it's harder for people to go, oh, you can give us 10 or 15% more. Why would we do that program when I can just throw it out, a sign in my front yard, get 50% more? So we're here at this conference this week to work on different techniques to shift as the market is shifting. So Little Pink has been very agile about changing as market condition changes. And when you're part of the family, you're getting all that information too. So there's new scripts, there's new information, there's new objection handling. So it's adjusting as the market adjusts. And so it's just another way to keep the ball rolling.
No, that's awesome. So can you tell us, this is the last question, I know a lot of people want to know, how much have you made with Little Pink Houses? I think you said 2019 that you've been with them.
Starting 2019, and we've made somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000 in that time frame from just the Little Pink Houses activity.
That is amazing. So just from 2019, and
yes.
You're working part-time.
And that was working part-time on it. So, and there are very few things you can invest in and get your investment back. And at the time, I think our investment was like $65,000 to get into the Little Pink Houses program. And we got that back within a year. And there's very few times when you get all your investment back, all your capital back within a 12-month period. We've not seen any other thing to invest in that gives you your money back that quickly. And then on top of that, everything else is, at that point, just gravy and profit.
Okay, guys, so what do you think? Is this something that you're interested in? If you are, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below and say, all right, this is something that I want to try. Now, Scott wants you guys to have a full understanding of how this all works. So he wants you to take his free case study just to have more of an understanding of how this works and how you can do it as well. So what I want you guys to do is, if you're interested, click on the link in the description below, Check it out. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section below. I can definitely get them answered for you. And I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.